Joining me now from New York is Mitchel Wallerstein. He's a former policymaker and non-resident senior fellow in foreign policy at the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. Great to have you on for this issue. I wanted to ask you about what you see geographically, Russia's positioning. You've got Russian and Belarusian military exercises in Belarus. So really you've got Russians in Crimea to the south, in the Donbass to the east, Belarus to the north, and of course Russia itself almost surrounding Ukraine. What's your read?
Well, I think there's two possible assessments here. One is that they are positioning troops, as you alluded to launch a full-scale invasion from three different directions. As you said, particularly with these Belarusian exercises, they have forces now in the north. They have many troops aligned along the eastern border, and then the separatist forces in the Donbass. And of course, they could also bring in additional forces from Crimea. The other explanation is that this is just part of an elaborate bluff, which is intended to extract political concessions from the Ukraine government and potentially from the US and NATO.
You know, the signs on the ground certainly point for preparation, at least, for invasion or movement of some kind. But do you think it could also be what some might call coercive diplomacy? Do you think Putin actually wants to be in Ukraine or further into Ukraine? Or is this more about stopping NATO expansion, defining a red line on that, a buffer?
Well, certainly the latter, without question. He has been increasingly vocal about his concern that that NATO is encroaching on what the Russians call the near abroad, which is the buffer zone that they've had since the time of the Tsars. But it could also be that he sees a closing window politically and militarily to take back Ukraine. He's made no secret of the fact that he wants to reestablish as much of the old Soviet empire as possible. With Ukraine drifting toward the West, he may feel that he has little time left in which to accomplish this.
Right.
And particularly with the U.S. politically in disarray at the moment, he may see this as the ideal opportunity.
Yeah, there's no doubt, of course, Russia could successfully invade Ukraine in a purely military sense. But I'm wondering how successful you think a Russian invasion would be longer term. There would be a massive insurgency. Invading is one thing. Holding ground for any length of time is another against a hostile population, as Russia learned at great cost in Afghanistan, right?
Precisely. And I think you would see very similar situation here. I think the Ukraine forces are already anticipating that they might have to resort to an insurgency and are seeking to acquire weapons that would aid them in that regard. So this could become a very bloody process for the Russians. Just as was the case in Afghanistan, when the bodies start coming back in body bags, it creates all sorts of negative fallout for the regime.
Yeah. The US, of course, Secretary of State meeting with Russia's Lavrov on Friday. What might the Russians accept that the US, the West, is willing to offer? What might an off-ramp to all of this look like?
Well, the problem is that the demands that were put forward by Putin are to a large degree completely unacceptable. They're non-starters because they would undermine the very basis of NATO. The only off-ramp that seems plausible, to me at least, is that they could agree to restart negotiations on the various arms control processes that almost all of which have now been abandoned. These were all part of the Helsinki process and the Helsinki Conference on Security and Cooperation in Europe. It led to the INF Treaty, which is the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty. It led to the Conventional Forces in Europe Treaty and a number of others. Almost all of them have now fallen by the wayside.
A fascinating analysis. Mitchel Wallerstein, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.